7:14. I want to welcome to mic number 2, Mr. Dan Hall, Commander of DAV Chapter 30, Mountain Home. Hey.
Good morning.
How you been?
Excellent. If I was any better, they'd make it illegal.
So what you got going on, Mr. Dan Hall?
Been real busy this last weekend. We were at a reunion of the 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines that I served in Vietnam with. It was quite a get-together. The showboat Branson Bell let us board early and do a memorial service. And then, of course, we had one of our young lieutenants back then ended up retiring, a lieutenant general, and he came in from Halifax, Canada, and spoke to us. It was quite a good group, about 173 Marines and 3 Navy corpsmen and their families. And we did it at Branson, at the Radisson. They treated us so well, we'll probably do it again in a couple of years. What we got this weekend, October 3rd, is our 8th annual Veterans Appreciation Cookout at Hickory Park in Mountain Home. It's something DAV Chapter 30 has been doing now. This is the 8th year, and it gets bigger every year. The community, of course, gets behind it, and the corporate sponsors have been outstanding. So plenty to eat, brats and side dishes and what have you. Coach Zorman from Mountain Home Junior High School will have his ROTC students there who will serve the veterans again this year instead of them going through the line. That went over real big last year. We've got veterans representatives from the VFW and DAV coming from as far away as Mountain View and Harrison.
Really? Yeah.
The new director of Arkansas Department of Veterans Affairs, you met him, Dale, Matt Sneed. He had said he would be here as a guest, but I think Asa Hutchison asked him to do something else for him.
Did he go to Cuba?
I'm not sure, but he's sending his immediate underling, a brand new employee of the state. He's a pretty dynamic individual and has a real good strategic plan to.
He's going to do great things for the veterans, in my opinion.
Full spectrum of services, not just claims. We're talking about jobs and all sorts of different things. And of course, we invite all of the elected officials. I'm not sure if Senator Bozeman will make it yet, but I know Stetson, his local guy, will be here, and
there was word that Senator Bozeman was going to be
Congressman Crawford. Of course, his local representative Joe Didden will be doing the cooking for us, so somebody will be there.
Joe's doing the cooking.
He's been doing it for a lot of years. If he stops cooking, we're in trouble. And, of course, the banks help us.
Yeah.
Actually, the big cooker we use belongs to Integrity First. They always loan that to us. And it's quite a turnout. I expect somewhere between 200 and 300 people we usually feed. Hopefully
so
the weather.
What's the overall? Is this a happy time for the veterans? Is it is it like a big reunion for them?
No, it's not a reunion. It's just if you served in any of the services, you're a veteran. You and your family are just appreciated. You come by and have lunch with us. We cook brats and, like I said, all the side dishes, potato salad, coleslaw, what have you.
Just a nice little picnic in the park.
Right, and the elected officials that are always welcome to come by. They don't do speeches or anything. They're just there, say hello, appreciate the veterans. Appreciated your prayer this morning, by the way.
You bet. You know, and speaking of that, how many times do I forget to pray for our veterans? You know, we have a few. How many World War II vets are left in this area?
I don't know. I've been involved with both of the.
You know, if you go all the way back to World War II, all the way up to we've got to support these men.
We've
and women.
been losing that generation.
Yeah.
And I started to say I've been on the rifle squad for funerals and what have you, and just amazing how many of the old guys that did.
But just because the veterans are home doesn't mean everything's okay, and that's why you work with DAV and other chapters of the Veterans Affairs programs. That's what Matt is doing in Little Rock, is to make sure the veterans get the benefits and the needs that they've earned.
Yeah, and that's been something.
Or the benefits, I should say.
This is a state that has a state department of Veterans Affairs, and often gets confused with the federal VA. They're really supposed to be facilitators to help veterans get through that mess with the federal VA. But Matt's really expanding it. A lot of people didn't even know they existed, except that they ran a veterans nursing home that kind of went belly up here a couple of years ago. Mm-hmm. We just broke ground at Fort Roots to build the new one, 100-bed facility. But ASA tapped Matt Sneed, who's a real hard-charging lieutenant colonel in the National Guard, came back from Afghanistan, and he's only got one speed.
Go.
Dead ahead. I've just really enjoyed working with him. He's not a bureaucrat.
Back in July, he was on Straight from the Horse's Mouth, and about the time I introduced him, I said, the microphone's all yours, and I didn't have to say another word.
Yeah, he's really put a plan together. One of the big things was they had one office to help veterans in Little Rock. We will now have 9 regional offices. One of them will be right here in Mountain Home.
Wow. That's going. I tell you what, I'm trying to find and see if I still have that interview with Matt Sneed on there for folks that want to go to audio on demand. They can hear what was his official title. I've got his business card in the other.
He is the director of Arkansas Department of Veterans Affairs.
And if that interview is not on there, I'll put it back on for folks that want to hear it. But he's got his plans are laid out now through, I think, 2023 or 2022.
And
the next 7 years.
He's ahead of schedule. He would like to apologize for progress. I expect that they'll hire the local representative here for that office sometime in the next month or so. It's doing it area by area, starting over in Fayetteville, and then Jonesboro, and then we're next.
Now they will hire a veteran to run that?
Oh, I would certainly hope so.
Waiting to see if this is... Anyway, while this is loading, what can we do as citizens to help our veterans, to show our support? What do we do?
Well, this community, we just have an awful lot of support from the community in so many different ways. This particular weekend, we certainly hope you get the word out to as many veterans as possible to come by and join us at that Veterans Cookout at Hickory Park. We'll be there from 11:30 to about 1:30. Hopefully, we'll have audio sound system set up.
Do you need one?
I think we have one planned, and a little bit of possible entertainment, some recognitions to do, but. As far as the ongoing, how do you help veterans? We have, like I said, we have so much support here, and a lot of people ask me this question about donating to veterans groups. One of the things about donating locally is that 100% of that goes directly to help a veteran. When you do it with the big organizations nationally and whatnot, they have high administrative loads and so on. You know, like DAV here, we don't run a building, we don't run a bar, we don't play bingo. All we do. We meet once a month. Car Emanuel lets us use the room there at the police department for our meeting space. The only overhead we have is the little office that we operate out of to coordinate the transportation of veterans down to Little Rock and North Little Rock to their VA medical appointments with those vans that we purchase. And that
how many vans we got now in the state?
We have 17 vans. 18 vans right now, going from 17 different locations. We're the only one that operates 2 vans. We have an east route and a west route here. That was a program that started 27 years ago with 2 veterans who thought it was a good idea and borrowed an old used van from the county judge.
Really?
And that has grown into the Arkansas transportation system for veterans. It's, like I said, there's 17 starting locations with 18 vans. You
said they have an east and west route from here?
Right. One van goes down through Flippin and Yellville and down through Marshall. The other one goes down through Mountain View, down 5. But those vans are not cheap.
No.
Ford Motor Company discounts the sticker price. The local community has to come up with half of the money, which is about $17,000. And then there's a Columbia Trust that's managed by the DAV National Office. They put in the other half, and that's the way we purchase these vans. when we get the new one and give it to VA to license it and so on, they give us the old used one back. We sell it locally for anywhere between $5,000 and $6,000. Put that back into the kitty. So I have to raise about $12,000 a year to buy a new van.
Now, we were in almost a year ago. We were in Mountain View together, and remember that van that was down there? What was the story behind that?
The story with that was that they no longer had the ridership or the need for it in Hot Springs Village, and so they moved it up to Mountain View, and they're operating to help the Batesville side of the area. They had a pretty high ridership. We have a brand new van down there right now.
Where's this?
At Little Rock. They come in through Cold Springs, Kentucky to the DAV national office. They put all the decals on them. Then they ship them down here to Memphis and into Little Rock area. And I think they were going to go down Friday when I was out of town to pick up the new one.
Have you totaled all the miles that you do in a year on these vans out of Mountain Home?
I don't. I think Frank K. might have that number, but I can tell you that in December of last year, we had a big ceremony down at McClellan Hospital there, and we celebrated 10 million miles driven by the volunteers in those vans.
10 million miles.
10 million miles. It was quite a milestone.
Unbelievable.
And it's all done with volunteers. You know, we can raise the money in the community. We can buy the vans and put all the decals on them and get them ready to go. No veteran has really helped until some volunteer in the community steps up and agrees to drive. And it's not an easy trip. You've got roughly a 12-hour day. We try to not use them more than once or twice a month so we don't burn them out. So we're always looking for volunteer drivers.
Yeah, I got to go to Little Rock on the 17th. I'm already dreading it.
Well, add to that driving a van and having 8 or 9 veterans in there that different kinds of problems. Another thing that's happening right now locally is Doc Tullis has been involved with a petition to try to get VA to provide more services locally, contract and so on, through the Veterans Choice Program. A lot of people don't realize we have veterans that are diabetic that go for dialysis, and sometimes a veteran like that may have to ride back and forth to Little Rock 4 or 5 days in a week.
Oh,
your entire life is a matter
on.
of getting dialysis. We have veterans that are getting chemo that have to ride down there 150 miles in that van and then ride home sick. And you know, we have those facilities here.
Oh, man.
So we're really working hard at trying to get some of those specialty services for veterans taken care of right here in Mountain Home. We have a renal clinic. There's no reason in the world somebody should have to go a 300-mile round trip to get dialysis several days a week. That's just absurd.
We've got the services here, but it has to be approved to go through the veterans programs?
Yes, as a matter of fact, when we had the big problem last year with the Veterans Administration hospital out in Phoenix that was falsifying lists, trying to make it appear as though veterans were getting timely help when they in fact weren't. So they came out with this Veterans Choice Card, which is a 3-year temporary program supposed to give us the opportunity to get services locally if your local Veterans Administration hospital can't handle it in a timely way. The problem with it is, you know, they have to score everything through the CBO, and in order to make it score out to where it would work, they said if you live within 40 miles of a facility, you're not eligible. Well, we have the local clinic here. It doesn't matter that local clinic doesn't provide the service the veteran needs. There is a veteran facility within 40 miles, so he's kind of, it's quite a
Washington red tape.
Bureaucratic nonsense.
Real quick, we got 30 seconds before we go to news break. Recap on the Saturday, October 3rd.
October 3rd, Hickory Park. And if you don't know where that is, it's one block off of Main Street over by Integrity Bank. Mm-hmm. We'll have the...
kind of behind Goodyear, behind Dairy Queen. Back
yeah, right. We'll have the DAV mobile service office there. We'll have a lot of interesting things to talk to veterans about. And bring your family out and join us for lunch.
It's for the veterans and veterans' families, right?
Exactly.
All right. Coming up October 3rd, and that's from 11 to 1?
11 to 1:30.
That brings us up to news time. We will be right back.